Remember to go check out Patreon. I'm going to go over a few things. Crime stories and conspiracy on false flags or suspected false flags will be on Patreon. So things like the Memphis 3 or the shooting at a nightclub will all filter through on Patreon on a Friday, just so you know. I saw a lot of comments for Steve Pachenik. And since he came in second, we're not going to have a vote today. We're just going to do him next week. So he will be on next Tuesday. And we will vote again on another 3 next Tuesday. Today we are doing George W. Bush and 9/11. I really tried looking for that classroom scene where he's in there and they're reading plane hit steel, but all the video was really, really bad. Now I found what I thought was a very good spot. I was listening to it and then I went back to actually look at it and to study it while I'm doing this. And what I find is, well, what most people should be surprised about anymore.
Many people have wondered if it took you right back to 9/11 when you heard it.
I was deeply concerned that this could have been, another highly organized attack on the country.
And it was cut. So whatever he said at the close-up was cut to this. So we never get to see exactly his emotional state, his true body language as he said it. Cut it out. It kind of reminds me when Bill Clinton said something he shouldn't have said, and it was cut out. Let's watch a little bit more. Maybe we can see something that they did not cut out.
Country, and it still may be. Again, I don't know the facts, but I do know that it's really hard to protect the homeland.
I also see these eyebrows right here. Go back. Pay attention. They shake. They shake like, normal people shake in their bodies when they're scared or their hands shake. His eyebrows are shaking.
Again, I don't know the facts, but I do know that it's really hard to protect the homeland. Those who
That vibration, it's really hard to protect the homeland, and you get a vibration, a shake. Now he does this eyebrow shake again when he talks about being a comforter and not just the commander in chief.
harken back the days where you become the comforter in chief. In other words, you try to help heal souls that are hurting.
And
now we're going to fast forward to the next time.
that in their view,
I can't remember the numbers, but 58% of the people initially said it was worth it.
And then again. Now these key points that he's shaking on are all contested points. Let's look at his body and see if we can't see any clues to that. Unfortunately, we're going to try and see if they don't cut it away. And that's the problem. They zoom into the face and then we look for other cues and other tells. And if they're cutting the video to edit out remarks that they don't want in there, it cuts our body language away too. And we'll get a confusing signal.
I think the removal of Saddam Hussein was the right decision for not only our own security, but for giving people a chance to live in a free society. As far as I'm concerned, the debate is over. I mean, I did what I did. And in history,
I did what I did in history. First off, we could say that those eyebrows doing that, just for where it stands, saying what he's saying is conflicting with his mind. And not in a way of true deception, but in a way of really unsure of portraying that. Like trying to convince your pencil is purple and really it's red. And this is the editing magic that they used to do back then before alternative media got involved and started not letting that happen. People started videotaping, cameras were everywhere. So movie magic has gone away. So whenever I see this, it's automatic. This is deception. And this is the other reason why it was so much easier back then to fool so many of the people. Because you could cut out in movie magic what you didn't want. In 2001, there was the internet. It was there. But Facebook was not there. Google Plus was not there. Twitter was not there. Mass amounts of information going out to thousands of people at a time was not there. You actually had to search for it. And the human species does not like to do extra work. People worked really hard and they wanted to go home and relax. And they wanted the government to do the job they put them in there for. So, unfortunately, when we see things like this, we're just going to get a lot of movie magic. This is Dick Cheney talking. And I want you to pay attention to how he holds his head in this interview. And we have a mirroring effect with the interviewer.
On Friday, he said, the people who did this will hear from all of us soon. There's an expectation in the country.
He's got a tilt to the side, lean down, shoulders. They're not submissive shoulders, they're relaxed shoulders. But this tilt to the side is what's getting me.
That we're about to pay back big time quickly. What should
And of course, now we see the interviewer. He's got his head tilted to the side, and he's talking with his hands and his arms.
American people think or feel about that?
I think the important thing here, Tim, is for people to understand.
And you see, he had the gated, and now he's cutting through the BS. I call it the BS, or the interrogation, or the interview, or negotiations, whatever. When you have your hands arrowed, to me, every time I see it, and the conversation that goes with it, they're snaking through.
Understand that things have changed since last Tuesday. The world's shifted in some respects. Clearly, what we're faced with here is a situation where terrorism has struck home in the United States. We've been subject.
And now his head goes down in this. We've been subject. And listen and watch.
Targets of terrorist attacks before, especially overseas with our forces and American personnel overseas.
And his body's not moving with him. He's very stiff.
But this time, because of what.
And he's getting down into it, leaned in. And I liken this because there's an emotion here that is hard to articulate because there's really not an English word for it. Have you ever seen a dog approach someone and they're trying to get in close? They come in from the side, but it's straight on. Their head's down and to the side, but their body is coming straight on. I'm trying to sit there and figure how do you say they're not coming in to be your friend. There's a good chance that if you don't react the way that dog wants, giving it some food, patting it on the head, whatever it wants, you're going to get bit. The other reason we can say that this is not complete submissive, and I give it into that dog analogy, is he's looking straight on to the interviewer. He's not shying away. He's giving him good, direct eye contact. So it may look submissive, but he's coming in and how he's going to, like I said, there's not a word for it, but coming into that strike zone, that is possible if things don't go the way he wants it to go. Whereas the interviewer, we go back to the way he was doing it.
The World Trade Center on Friday, he said, the people who did this will hear from all of us soon. There's an expectation in the country that we're about to pay back big time quickly. What should the American people think or feel about that?
He did a stutter, think or feel. He sits up straight because he's getting an eye contact. He's a alpha male dealing with a beta male, and he does not like that direct eye contact because he's now been challenged about what Bush said. Because Bush is coming across as the leader, when it's very clear as you listen to Cheney that he is the one running the country. It is not George Bush. And we don't have to have body language. It's the fact that he's got all the information. If you want to know what's going on, you go ask Dick Cheney. That just makes sense. But again, this is movie magic, and this is edited the way they wanted, which makes this even harder, which should tell you that the entire thing is deception, and go do your own research. Now, this is bad quality yet again, but we're talking about going on 16 years ago. Watch how Cheney snakes through this. And I'll point it out. Just follow the mouse.
Questions are unknowable at present, Tim. It'll depend on developments, depend on how fast it takes us to achieve our objectives. Remember why we went there. That we went there specifically to take down the Saddam Hussein regime.
Rises up. He's got his cobra stance.
To wrap up all.
Now he's going this way. Avoidance.
WMD capability that he had
Now he's coming at you, that side glance that we've already talked about.
possessed or developed.
Now he's switching back to the other side, dodging another way. I mean, it really just reminds me of a. You ever seen those snake charmers and they've got the cobras out and they've stood up. The cobras are and they're fanned out, and then the guy with his hand or whatever he's got in his hand. Some of them use their fingers like snake heads and they like poke at the snake like real fast, and the snake either goes back or he dodges to the side or he goes to the other side. This is Dick Cheney.
to deal with the threat that his regime represented to the region and to the United States. A very significant challenge, but we have, in fact, I think, been very successful at achieving.
Okay, I think we've seen the snake enough. But you can't do George Bush on 9/11 without doing the one who actually was running the show. And again, I apologize for the picture quality. Um, those of you, my patrons, Patreon, a lot of you do really good and you send me video with your request. I really appreciate it if all of you would do it, especially if you know where there's good quality video. That would help me so much because I spend literally a good hour looking for one good video to the point where I just give up and I get this. So what I can say is it's deception. They moved it's deception that we saw out of George Bush, and we see here that they used movie magic with George Bush, cutting out those scenes that may have said something that he shouldn't have. And we see with Dick Cheney, he is the constant snake, dodging and wiggling those questions, getting them around him. If you liked it, leave a like. If you liked the content, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.